So it's okay for her and her 16-year-old daughter to jump me in her house.
Acting? Are you on dope right now?
No.
Because you don't talk to a judge like that. I don't know who you think you're talking to.
Don't make me pop up.
Pop up in what?
You mean disrespectful.
Thank you, Judge.
I didn't do that. You a liar.
Thank you, sir.
You a liar.
Nice to meet you.
For real, you a liar.
She's a snake, she's a user, she's a taker, and I'm here to reveal on your today. We had sex together with you and your man.
Did y'all?
We had sex. On my mother, we had sex together.
Have a police report on that?
I do have a police report, but I don't have a copy of it. I have the restraining order choking me. I couldn't breathe. He had me pant down on top of me, and then he started from choking me again.
In this episode, plaintiff Laura Borden says that the defendant, Rebecca Prohl, is her sister. She claims that she tried to save her from a life of stripping, but Rebecca was ungrateful and nasty.
2006, Rebecca and her husband separated. She showed up at my house drunk, full of dollar bills. She'd been stripping at the local bar. I offered her to move into a home I had. I paid her all her bills, and after a few weeks, I found her a job. She refused to take that job.
But Rebecca refused to take the job. So, naturally, her sister said that she had to pay her rent or move out. Well, Rebecca did move out, but this is what she did.
When she moved out, she called the corporate office where I worked and tried to tell them that I was a drug dealer and get me fired from my job.
What year was that?
That was approximately 2006.
Sounds unfair.
My son died. Becky came over within 24 hours and beat up Alicia, my son's ex-wife.
Why?
That's enough grounds for suing someone for emotional distress. Now, let's hear Rebecca's side of the story.
Go ahead. What do you want to say, ma'am?
You're jealous, and that's all it is.
Ma'am, speak to me. What do you want to say?
Lori is a drug addict, an alcoholic. She never raised Ricky. My mother raised him since he was an infant. He didn't even call her mother. He called my mom, Ma.
This allegation caused a heated verbal rift between the two sisters.
It is true, Lori. Wake
Ma'am,
up.
speak to me.
Rebecca claims that her sister has been jealous of her their entire life. What's she jealous of, you ask? Well, hear it for yourself.
She always has been. She's jealous of my breasts. She's jealous of everything.
Of your what?
My breasts. She's because I'm
your
bigger than
breasts?
she is. Yeah, she's bigger. She's jealous of everything. She's jealous of everything about me. My hair, my eyes. I'm prettier than her. It's been that way my entire life.
Oh, really? She accuses her of faking her story.
She needs to do another line and feel better. Because if you notice, Your Honor, she didn't have one tear in her eye. Work at it, Lori.
That doesn't mean, ma'am, stop that.
Judge Mathis rightly pointed out that just because someone is not crying or showing overt signs of grieving doesn't mean they are faking it. Laura then goes on to prove that after her son passed away, Rebecca harassed her and sent her racist voicemails. It's been challenging to watch this in 2023.
Lori, I heard you're still going on about Ricky's belongings, his four-wheelers and so forth. Just to inform you, all that stuff has been sold, so it is no longer around, so you don't have to worry about it. The money was used to pay my mom's bills, since Ricky and the lover that you're hanging with has ran up her bills, and she had to have that money to pay her bills for supporting the lover kid.
There was another voicemail full of slurs. It, of course, needed to be beeped out. We are with Judge Mathis when he interrupts, saying,
That's enough, man. I'm a good Christian. I'm trying to be a God-serving man. I've never heard that type of...
He ruled in favor of Laura. I mean, not surprising. She has been through a lot of harassment. In this case, plaintiff Celeste Chambers claims that she was a good Samaritan to the defendant.
I had taken her and her husband in. They were homeless, living on the streets. Took them in, hoping that they would stay off the drugs, and the ultimate goal was to get their kids back.
What drugs were they on?
But this is what followed.
She repaid me by throwing her cell phone at my window, vehicle windshield. She got in a fight with her husband.
The defendant, Jessica, tries to justify her case. Let's hear her side of the story.
I was at Octafarm Plasma donating.
Selling your blood?
Donating plasma.
Did they pay you?
Yes.
Wait a second. Did we hear it right? She was donating plasma. Sounds like what a person with a drug problem would do. Judge Mathis was quick to catch this.
That's not what it went for.
Okay, I'm just telling you.
went
She
straight to
says
her.
you were. She says your 4 kids were taken from you
Absolutely.
because you were dope fiends. And then you tell me that you were doing what a lot of dope fiends do, selling your blood. Go ahead.
Families are wrecked by addiction and alcoholism. It's a sad, harsh reality. She admits on national TV that her reckless lifestyle had caused all her 4 children to be taken away.
What type of dope caused you to have
Meth.
your children taken?
Meth.
Crystal meth. All right.
You wouldn't believe how she was speaking to the judge. I mean, there's simply no reasonable excuse for her disrespectful behavior.
So it's okay for her and her 16-year-old daughter to jump me in her house in front of all the kids.
Where did your clothes and your cars
In her
go?
possession.
Okay, did she take them?
She still has them.
Have you been to jail before?
No.
He wasn't going to sit there and tolerate this attitude. It's rare to see the judge lose his temper. He is known for his gentle, compassionate nature. Jessica's testimony must have really got on his nerves.
He'll throw you in jail immediately because you're acting. Are you on dope right now?
No.
Because you don't talk to a judge like that. I don't know who you think you're talking to, but you don't talk to me like that. You're in the wrong place with the wrong judge.
Celeste gives an account of physical attack that she survived from Jessica after she damaged her property.
She stood up to me, pushed her belly out, and bumped me. All of my kids are in the living room. I let the first one go. She did it again. It knocked me onto the couch with her on top of me. I slid out from underneath her.
Jessica has excuses to deny that she initiated any kind of physical confrontation. But the judge saw right through her lies, and given how disrespectful and contemptuous she acted in the court, Judge Mathis ruled in favor of Celeste. And you won't believe the absolutely undignified, crass behavior Jessica and her husband showed after this.
They just wanted money to get more
She's got all my
drugs. Continue to lie.
and she used my cards, and I will be suing her in court, excuse my language, because she owes me money.
Man, have some shame. This is on national television. Let's dive into the next one. Plaintiff Mia Minor says she connected with the defendant Leandros Knighton because of their mutual interest in music and they started dating. But he turned out to be a liar and a cheater. Leandros denies being in a serious relationship with her. He says,
We really are supposed to be still doing
We
music
ain't never
together.
had no relationship together. We had sex a few times and that's it. She be acting like she my girlfriend. You is not my girlfriend. Stop acting like you my girlfriend. Every time I'm passing out my business cards.
ouch, that must be hurtful. I don't get it, you know. Why can't people ever set their boundaries right? Labels in relationships might be important to some people and may not be for others. When you communicate and make things clear, you save the other person from a lot of pain.
To a female, she see me pass out my car. You could just tell my friend like, why is she looking at you like she ain't even my girlfriend? She'll go.
Leandros believes that Mia is obsessed in an unhealthy manner with him. He asked the court to listen to an audio recording to prove his claims. This led to another clash and name-calling.
Well, you know you ain't nothing but
Listen to the audio.
Don't try
And
to
she
stop
say it's
it.
all about shoes.
Let's listen to some parts of the audio, because guess what? We can't sit through the whole of it. It's filled with disrespectful cuss words and slurs that we had to beep out.
For you and we as friends, I told you my girl right here.
I don't give a about no mother raggedy. Don't make me pop up.
Mia looked seriously shocked. She was in disbelief that the recording existed. Seems like someone is ashamed of her actions.
Don't make me pop up.
Pop up and wait.
You mean disrespectful.
Mia looked extremely pissed off after the judge's verdict.
Thank you, Judge.
I didn't do that. You a liar.
Thank you, sir.
You a liar.
Nice to meet you.
For real, you a liar.
Man, she was so full of wrath. Leandros was legit scared, and honestly, so am I.
You need to work. Look at her.
You know that.
I'm scared of her. She look like she want to bite me.
Well, you know what they say, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. The plaintiff Marilyn Portia Tyrrell claims that the defendant Fountessa Reed was a close friend who came along when she danced on Soul Train in the 90s. But things have unfortunately changed. She says,
But as I come to realize, she was nothing but a manipulator and a taker. She was a good friend of promoting me, but at the same time...
Admit it, we've all been there. A friendship disagreement that leads to bad blood and eventually a fallout. But given all those years of the bond, does Marilyn think Fountessa has never been loyal? Apparently yes, and she has her reasons.
My daughter, to be exact, it kind of involved that. Where,
there you go.
You
now
know,
you're
she
talking about
totally
something.
had no disregard when I would call her and tell her I needed $20 to feed my daughter, and I gave her $2,500, and she would have no regard to give me my money back. And I didn't like it. It was just horrible. Like, how you gonna do somebody like that would give you their last? If I had 4 quarters, I would give her 3, and she would do me like this. It was total. I wanted to bash her head in.
That was an emotionally tense scene. I'm reminded of this one quote by C.S. Lewis. It says, "I sat with my anger long enough until she told me her real name was grief." What Marilyn feels is betrayal. And that has given birth to a lot of rage.
She's a snake, she's a user, she's a taker, and I'm here to reveal on your today.
I get it. Friendship breakups are a radical loss, and they hurt more than romantic ones. But I genuinely felt that Marilyn could have showed some grace to Fantessa for the sake of their history.
Don't bring my kids up in it. You a low down, but God know you quarterback. Look at you. Look at you. You ugly, and God don't like ugly. He said it.
Fantessa, as it turns out, was no less. She was in full attack mode as well.
You know what, since she wanted to talk about me.
Gorgeous, honey.
Portia's nothing but a lady of the night, stripper.
Oh wait, that's not all. Things start to get really interesting with this confession.
Prostitute, unfit.
And I you too, right? We together. We had sex together with you and your man.
Did y'all?
We had sex. Oh, my mother, we had sex together.
So they were really close friends. I see. What she said next was too inappropriate to be televised, actually.
She was always trying to get me in the bedroom because this look alone couldn't keep her. She needed me as that buffer. She needed me as that buffer everywhere we went.
Ouch! Fantessa says that her friend's vicious attitude in the court shows how her true character is. She claims,
Drug abuser, and like I said, she's a lady of the night. And when things don't go her way, Portia's the type, like she just went to jail for bashing one of our friends over here with rocks. She just recently, because she thought a girl was looking at her man, said she was gonna snatch her eyes out, and instead they beat her over the head with a pipe.
as a counterattack, Marilyn stooped real low, degrading her for her body.
It doesn't matter. I don't even care. But guess
Look at your body style. You trying to cover that. You wrong.
Judge Mathis had to step in. The name-calling and the crazy outbursts had gone too far. You know those lyrics to the famous Selena Gomez song that goes, "And what hurts the most is people can go from people you know to people you don't"? I think it fits this episode. This case was hard to watch, and trigger warning, there are mentions of physical abuse. Plaintiff Miori Holliman says that when she started dating the defendant, he seemed like a gentleman, but her fairy tale soon ended when she realized.
And I found out that Romeo is a woman beater, a cheater. From him hitting me, I had to get a restraining order.
Jealousy and suspicion of infidelity are direct triggers of intimate partner violence. It's so common, it's disgusting. This case was no different.
Back in February, I was leaving the nail shop.
Right.
When I was leaving the nail shop, he asked me where I been. I told him where I was. And then he was like, well, who you was with? I was like, I was with no one. He was like, no, that can't be, because one of my homeboys saw you at the nail shop with your ex. I said, yes, so I told my ex to bring my laptop. My ex dropped off the laptop at the nail shop. Romeo started going crazy, saying, you lying, that he's been looking in my phone, saying that.
And that's when the violence started as well?
I have to warn you, there are some really disturbing confessions ahead. It was gut-wrenching to hear what this woman had to go through.
That's when he was choking me, to slapping me.
Have a police report on that?
I do have a police report, but I don't have a copy of it. I have the restraining order and everything that has, and I have a video.
The defendant, Romeo, justifies his suspicions, saying that he went through Miori's phone and it confirmed that she was cheating on him with her ex. When the judge asked what his initial reaction to this was, he said,
how did your argument end with her?
I threw her phone. I ended up starting asking about other scenarios and stuff, and then she just was telling me about this time and everything. So I was like, are you still 100% still seeing him? She said yes.
And then what happened?
And
you
then
just walked away?
No, sir. We end up coming down. We end up talking about it.
Midori's account of that incident is different. It's gory and violent, and I hope you have the stomach to take it.
So he threw my phone, choking me. I couldn't breathe. He had me pant down on top of me, and then he started from choking me again, from pushing me, He did throw my phone in the door, and that's when I have the text messages of him threatening my ex, so he got my phone.
There was a video recording to back her claims. Judge Mathis at this point was clearly done with Romeo.
And that's him picking me up, pinning me outside, choking me again.
No, I wasn't. I picked you up because you
All
was
right,
running.
Romeo.
Be quiet,
All
you
right,
woman
Romeo.
beater. You won't do that to a
Hit me
man, I
twice.
bet you.
The judge was so furious at the audacity of this man to defend himself. Judge Mathis, who is otherwise very kind, set an example of what he wouldn't tolerate.
He was choking me, Romeo.
Sir, I'm looking at
Choking
her.
me.
I picked her
Shut
up.
up, you woman beater, and get the hell out of my court. Your claim is dismissed and yours is granted.
This episode was haunting, an eye-opener. One look at the official statistics and you know how widespread the problem is. It's a pandemic. Preventing and responding to violence against women requires a multi-sectional approach, and I hope we can one day put an end to it.